Hi there, this is Heidi for AllFreeKnitting, and today I have got a free video tutorial for this knit crocodile stitch. Crocodile stitch is probably most famous in its crochet version, but this video is for a subtle little knit version worked over 5 rows. In this version of the knit crocodile stitch, you can cast on any even number of stitches. So for demonstration's sake, I did 8. In this stitch, we are going to start out with what's called a foundation row. So this row, which is just purl 1, knit 1 across, is worked just for the first row of the pattern, and then you won't go back to working it again. So that's what they mean when you hear the phrase foundation row. You're setting the foundation for the rest of your project, but you don't need to work that stitch again, or that row again. All right, so the foundation purl 1, knit 1 across is done. And now we're turning our work, and this is the wrong side. So with the wrong side facing us, we're going to slip 1 stitch with the yarn at the back of the work. In knitting pattern abbreviations, with yarn in back is abbreviated as WYIB, just as a heads up. So with yarn in back, we're going to slip 1 stitch, then we're going to bring our yarn to the front between the 2 needles, then we're going to slip 1 stitch with the yarn in front, yarn over, purl 1, then we're going to repeat from the first slip stitch with yarn in front. So slip 1 with yarn in front, yarn over, purl 1, slip 1 with yarn in front, yarn over, purl 1, and when you come to the last stitch of that row, you will knit it. Now turn your work, and we're going to be on the right side. Again, with the yarn in back to start, we will slip 1 stitch, like so. Then bring the yarn to the front between the needles, purl 1. Then, still with yarn in front, we're going to slip the next 2 stitches. So see how my needle goes through both of these loops? Slip 2 stitches with yarn in front, yarn over. Then we're going to repeat from the purl 1, slip 2 with yarn in front, yarn over, purl 1, slip 2 with yarn in front, yarn over, and end with a knit 1. Every row of this version of crocodile stitch ends with a knit 1. And every row after that foundation row begins with a slip 1. Just to keep that in mind. Now we're back to the wrong side, and like I just said, we always start with the slip 1 with yarn in back. Next, we're going to do something that doesn't happen all that often in knitting. We're going to knit 3 together. So right here we've got 1, 2, 3, and yes, there should be a little X here on the second and third loop. So for the knit 3 together, we're going to put our needle as if we're knitting 1 stitch, but we've got 3 loops on there, so it's going to be real chunky. Put your needle under and knit all 3 of those loops together. So that's a big knit 3 together. Then purl 1, knit 3 together again, purl 1, knit 3 together again, purl 1, and we will end with the same thing we end every row with in this stitch, knit 1. All right, so now there's only 2, 4, 6, 8. Perfect. So that should still be the number of stitches you cast on. The first time you work through this stitch, you might want to recount the number of loops at every end of the row to make sure you did all of the yarn overs and slip stitches correctly. Now for the last row that we're repeating for this crocodile stitch, we're on the right side. As usual, we start with slip 1 with yarn in back, then knit 1, purl 1, all the way across. Ending on a knit one like usual. Now, that is the 5 rows that create this crocodile stitch. You'll only repeat rows 2 through 5 because of that foundation row that you don't need to work again. And you get these little scales. Let me show you on a larger swatch. See how I've got all these cool lumps on this swatch? Those are the scales of the crocodile. And so in this version of the knit crocodile stitch, the scales aren't really big and pointy like you see in the classic crochet crocodile stitch, but it's a subtler version that has only the 4 rows that repeat forming the scales. So this makes it a little more adaptable and also friendlier to work with chunkier yarn. So this could make a really fun cowl or hat or even the back of a hand warmer, just for some really fun added texture. So this little crocodile stitch would make an excellent hat, cowl, or the back of the hand on a mitten or hand warmer. If you like this stitch, give us a like, leave a comment if you've got any questions, and don't forget to subscribe for even more awesome knitting video tutorials.